What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Sub-Zero. And so here we have the unmasked Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 3 pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Sub-Zero does come with two different head sculpts. We do have the neutral head that he has on him right now. Then we do get a grimacing head sculpt, which looks really nice. He also comes with several sets of hands. We get a pair of fists. We get a pair of splayed open hands. We get a pair of style pose hands. We get a pair of clinching hands. Then we get a pair of chopping hands. Sub-Zero also does come with some ice blast effects, which do peg onto his clinching hands, and those look really nice. He also does come with an ice tomb, which looks really nice. I do like this accessory. The fun thing about it is you can put another figure in this ice tomb, and that's a really nice effect. And you can split it open, and it does come with some blood effects that you can use it to look like he just ripped someone in half. He also comes with several disembodied body parts. We do get a set of disembodied hands. Then we get a set of disembodied feet, as well as various bones throughout the human body. And then finally he does come with a blood pool, which looks really nice. I am really happy he comes with that. Other than that, Sub-Zero doesn't come with anything else. I don't know what more you would want from this figure. He comes with a lot of fatality parts, so I am happy about that. And he comes with a lot of other neat parts for himself. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at Sub-Zero. And so here we have a closer look at Sub-Zero, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, something about this figure's proportions throw me off a little bit, and it's not just with his head, it's with the entire figure. I'm not one to criticize body proportions on figures that often, but I do have to point it out with this figure, so we'll actually go over that right now, and he's not even positioned straight. There we go. Okay, so first of all, it's a really nice head sculpt. It's not 100% likeness to the actor who played Sub-Zero, but it is fairly nice. Now, one thing I do feel is that he has a relatively small head. Proportion to his body, his head is really small. I think they could have made it just a little bit longer and maybe a little bit wider, and that would solve the issue, but yeah, he has a small head, and that's a little bit unfortunate. I do like the hair sculpt on him. This is exactly what we saw in Mortal Kombat 3. We had the slick back hair for Sub-Zero. And like I said, it's just done really nice. I do like it. It's a really good look for the figure. And one thing I really do like is the scar above the eye. Now, I know a lot of people say it's a scar. Some people say he's marked for death. Either way, it looks nice. I do like it. I always thought it was a scar, so that's what I'm going with. But yeah, this is a really nice look for the figure. Although it does appear like one of his eyes is a little bit off. You can see this eye is looking straight while this one is slightly looking up, and that is pretty noticeable now that I'm looking at it. And it's more obvious when you turn his head. It's not as obvious when you're looking at it this way, but yeah, looking at it like this, you can obviously tell that this eye is looking up while this eye is looking straight. So we have a little bit of a lazy eye going on Sub-Zero right here. Not a huge deal in all honesty, but it is something to note about my particular version. So with that out of the way, let's actually go on to his uniform, because this is actually one of the most unique uniforms that we've seen on a ninja figure. And I know Storm Collectibles has been giving us ninja after ninja after ninja, and I'm perfectly okay with that. The ninjas are some of my favorite characters from Mortal Kombat, so it's only fair that they make them because they're the most popular. Having a look at his costume here, it does continue that Mortal Kombat 3 ninja motif, and if anything, he started it with the square patterns going up and over his shoulders all the way to the back, and I do like it. It's a really interesting look. It's very different than what we've seen on other ninja characters, but I think at this point in the story, Sub-Zero is like marked for death, and he's avoiding the Lin Kuei at every turn, so it makes sense why his costume looks so different. And I don't know why, I can't seem to get the body to be quite aligned. There's something off about mine. It's just the positioning on it. But yeah, I really like the costume here. One thing I never liked were his wrist guards, because they were only up to here, and then he had the strings here. All the other ninjas had the gauntlets, and I would have liked to see some gauntlets on this Sub-Zero, but it's not a knock against Storm Collectibles. It's how the character looked in the game, so transferring it there, it does work. Now, one thing I do have to point out is his body proportions, and yeah, it's a little bit obvious right here, but there's something off about his body proportions. Like his shoulders are too wide for the chest piece, and then he has no depth here on the chest. Now, I know Storm Collectibles has done this in the past where they made a barrel chest for their figures, and I don't understand why Sub-Zero here didn't get that same treatment. He has a very flat chest. Like everything from his chest down to his pelvis is almost a straight line, and that's not how the human body is. I would have liked to see them sculpt out a chest just to give him a more broad chest and maybe extend his upper torso a little bit more, because it is quite noticeable that he doesn't have quite the physique that he should, and it is a little bit bothersome that his body is small. Like, this does a good job of covering it up, but if you didn't have this vest on, you'd be able to tell that his chest is, like, it ends virtually right here where the straps start or end. So, yeah, his proportions are throwing me a little bit off, but it's nothing too major. I do like this little belt. It continues that square pattern motif, and it goes all the way around. It's painted nicely enough. Then we go on to his pants here, where we do have the blue stripe right here, the blue completely on his backside. We have some blue stripes going along his pants right here. And then we go to his gauntlets, or his greaves, and as you can see, he does have shin guards. And I just love the way Storm Collectibles does their metal. It looks like actual metallic coverings, and you can see it has that really nice silver, and then it has like a patina to it. It's done exceptionally well. I love that. That is like one of the best parts on this figure. That's why I kind of wish that this figure had gauntlets. That way we could see this metallic motif on those gauntlets, because it would have looked so nice, in all honesty. Just the way it catches the light and reflects, it's done beautifully. So with that, we have a look at his shoes, and they're just your standard ninja shoes with a big toe, and we do have some blue stripes going along them. But yeah, the blue accents look really nice. But yeah, not a fan of his shoes, but I really love these shin guards. They look beautiful. Oh, I could look at those all day, and I probably might after this review is done. So overall, the Sub-Zero is pretty good. In terms of proportion, there are things off about him. And like I said, you can see his head is kind of small, especially when you compare it to the rest of his body. And then his body has a strange... the structure of his body is really strange, to be quite honest. But yeah, I'm not going to knock the figure too much because of it. It still looks really nice. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Sub-Zero posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Sub-Zero posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure in a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Sub-Zero posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have Sub-Zero posed next to a Storm Collectibles Scorpion and a Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Classic Sub-Zero. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Sub-Zero's articulation. Now, he does have a double ball joint here in the neck. It's a ball joint going from the top of the head all the way into the chest, so he can look back about that far. He can look down about that far, and it's a really stiff joint, unfortunately. I might have to get in there and put some lubricant in there, but he does tilt his head side to side, and like I said, it is a fairly stiff joint, but it does turn left and right, no problem. His arms are on ball joints, so we do have movement going back. We have movement going forward. They can pivot up, pivot down. And when I got him out of the packaging, this was really stiff. Like, you can still hear this, but when I got it out of the package, the arms were so stiff you could hear them squeaking even louder than that, and it felt like it was going to break. I did put some lubricant in there, and it moves nicely. You still get that squeak, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break, so that's a good thing. Arms go out to the side to about right there. He does have a bicep swivel, which works fine. He has a double bend at the elbow, giving us really good range there. I do like that. Then we do have a ball hinge at the wrist, so it does move forward and back. We can move that joint to have in and out movement, and then of course it swivels on that peg. We do have a ball joint here at his torso, which does let him lean back about that far. He can lean forward about that far. He can lean to the side really nicely, although it is a little bit hindered by this vest piece. We do have a secondary ball joint down here, but it is glued down. The vest is glued onto the pelvis piece, which isn't ideal. This should be a floating piece that allows you to move it up and down, but it works. You just got to be careful because I'm noticing that his torso likes getting caught in on itself, so you got to be doing a lot of adjustment to this rubber torso, otherwise it's going to get snagged and it's going to look weird from some angles. But yeah, he does have double ball joint here and a ball joint down here. Legs do kick forward to about right there. They go back about that far, out to the side, all the way, no problem. Sub-Zero can do karate kicks really nicely. We do have a thigh swivel up high, double bend at the knee, going very far back. Really love that. That is some really good articulation right there. No swivel here at the ankle, unfortunately, but we do have forward-facing pin for rocker ankle, as well as a hinge that goes back and forward. And then finally, we have a toe hinge. Although not necessary, I do like the inclusion of it. So overall, Sub-Zero has your standard Storm Collectibles articulation, which I really do enjoy it, along with the soft plastic. It makes for a very, very aesthetically posable figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Unmasked Sub-Zero pose for my final thoughts, and overall, really love this figure. I know I'm more of a Scorpion fan, but it seems like I have more Sub-Zero figures than I have Scorpion figures. And that's just because Storm Collectibles makes really good Sub-Zero figures. Be it the first Sub-Zero wasn't as good as the other ones, every Sub-Zero that we've gotten so far has come with something new and interesting that you just have to have it in your collection. And this Sub-Zero is no different. Now, granted, his body proportions are a little bit strange, even by Storm Collectible standards, and I'm pretty sure that it only happened after the prototype didn't go as a plan, so they had to make adjustments for it. I still like the way this figure came out. The proportions aren't enough to throw this figure off for me, because once you get him posed, he looks really nice, and I am really happy to have this Sub-Zero in my collection. Now, this Sub-Zero was going for about $70 at all retail, such as Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, or even from Storm Collectibles directly. This figure, by the time I'm making this video, is completely sold out. There is no way to get hold of this figure other than secondhand market, which they are already charging $120 for this figure, which is outrageous. Seeing how he just barely came out, this Sub-Zero isn't even a year old and people are already asking for a little more than original price. So if you are looking for this Sub-Zero figure and you were lucky enough to pre-order him, I know you're going to be happy with him. But if you weren't able to snag this figure, I would really recommend you do so, seeing as how he comes with a lot of fun fatality parts. Storm Collectibles is giving us more and more fatality parts, and I am really happy that they are starting to lean more into the Mortal Kombat M rating and giving us more graphic parts for dioramas, and it just looks so fantastic even with Sub-Zero. If you can track this figure down, more than likely you're going to want to have it in your collection. And if you find a great price for it, definitely don't hesitate, pull the trigger and add this figure to your collection. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other Mortal Kombat videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly take a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.